the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First order of business is approved with the minutes of the last meeting. Is there a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve minutes of the last meeting.
Is there a second?
I second.
If there are no additions or corrections, we have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved. Our first case tonight, whichever.
Our first case tonight is 2-21-A. The applicant is Schumacher Homes. The variance request is 535 Lang Road. The action requested, the applicant is requesting that the Union Township Board of Zoning Appeals grant variances in relief from provisions section 711.1, which would give permission to increase an accessory building size allowance from 1,000 square feet to 1,800 square feet, and relief from section 711.5, which would give permission to increase the accessory structure height limit from 14 feet to 16 feet in the R1 district. The subject property is located on the southwestern portion of Lang Road on a panhandle lot behind an existing residence in the northwest portion of Union Township. Some background information: the applicant's property is zoned R1, single-family detached structure residential, and the lot totals 1.95 acres. Access to the lot is off of Lang Road via a panhandle that provides entry to the home site. The current property is vacant with minimal construction started on the single-family home. The proposed garage is located on the southwestern portion of the lot. The applicant states that due to the large size of the property, the ample setback from the roadway, and the betterment of the property promotes the allowance for a garage in the R1 zoning district to be increased. Accessory storage buildings are common throughout R1 zoning district, and generally variance requests seeking additional square footage may be authorized when proof of a hardship is apparent. The applicant states that without the BZA approval, storage of the RV will have to remain outside and exposed to the element. The applicant states that the building will match the house in color and building material. After reviewing the proposed variance request submitted by the applicant, the following observations can be made. Per section 434 of the zoning resolution, variances may be made to increase the maximum gross floor area, but not generally more than 25%. The current proposal is 80% greater than the allowance in the R1 residential district lots. Although the lot is zoned R1 single-family residential, the parcel is 4 times larger than that of the minimum required square footage required. Generally, large acre parcels are conducive to greater percentage increases due to the ample lot setback area and larger to the adjoining properties. The proposed variance does not appear to encourage or otherwise allow the establishment of a use not otherwise permitted within this district. The proposed variance is congruent to the surrounding residential development pattern, which are all zoned R1 single family. And the proposed structure does not appear to impede light or air to the surrounding properties, nor does it appear to increase any greater runoff to the surrounding properties. The proposed driveway should be paved prior to the completion and use of this accessory structure. The action required is to approve, modify, or deny the applicant's request for variance in case number 2-21-A, requesting relief to section 711.1 and 711.5 of the Union Township zoning resolution as to allow for the construction of an accessory building that would increase the size from 1,000 square feet to 1,800 square feet and increase the height from 14 feet to 16 feet based on the evidence, testimonies, and findings of fact.
Thank you. Is there anyone to speak in favor of the application?
I'm the property owner. Good evening. My name is Joseph Nadock.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
State your name and spell your last name, please, for the record.
Joseph Nadock, N-A-D-O-C-K.
Proceed.
I was just here to, to represent any questions that somebody might have had in regards to what's going on and how the building's going to be and everything else. So, I mean, we've carefully planned where everything's going, and I know there's probably some questions on the drainage and everything else. Schumacher's, we've come up with, we're gonna run like 800 feet of drain tile off the house and off the building to different parts. So we'll have no drainage issues at all. And like I said, the house is gonna, or the building's gonna match the house in color and material. But also, I was gonna just tell the surrounding neighbors that I have 2 acres, but I'm only cleared an acre of it. So I'm gonna maintain a tree buffer along the back side and along the driveway side. I'm not gonna remove the trees. I'll have a 10-foot buffer, so they'll never see anything. I won't see them, they won't see me. The only part that's not gonna be cut is the back corner where the building actually is. That's already cleared. And then also the front part too, for the lot in front of me. We might still have enough left to maintain the buffer, but I don't think that'll be an issue because I know the people. They're not concerned about it. Any other questions, or?
Any questions from the board? Not yet, yeah, not yet too. Okay.
Okay.
Is there anyone else to speak in favor of the application?
Hello. My name's Angela Walker.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, all the truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. So I'm here to speak in favor. I am a property owner that shares a large property line with Joe. Most of the time, if people come to complain about these things, they don't live on a large lot. The property owners surrounding him that do have acreage, we're all fine with this, because we do understand that if he doesn't park his RV and his other accessory vehicles in this kind of a structure, they will be out for everybody to see. And, you know, what would people prefer more? These extra vehicles to be inside of a nice accessory structure, or to be outside where we'd have to look at that more. So again, all of us, like on the main side of him, where the structure's gonna be, we're totally fine with it. Yeah, and I have no problem. I think it looks like a great building. I understand why he needs it. So, yeah.
So what property you
So,
have?
right there, the big portion in front of him. And so, you know, a lot of times people will come up here and they'll say drainage problems, drainage problems. That's not an issue, because where he's putting this garage, it would only really be causing drainage problems for himself. It's not gonna touch anyone that's on the border of the, like, Pepper Ridge community that you see on the bottom portion. This garage is not bigger than the house that's gonna be there. This garage is not taller than the house that's gonna be built there. So I don't think it should be a problem.
Question from the board?
Nope, not now.
Okay, is there anyone else to speak in favor of the application? Is there anyone to speak in opposition to the application? Okay, now, questions of the board? Discussion of the board?
The size.
Of the lot. Although the lot size is greater than normal. I don't know how you feel about the variance for.
Okay, Mr. Nadup, would you come back up to the stand, please?
Here's a question.
Would you come back up to the podium, please?
Sure.
I do have a question for you. Why did you choose to put that building on a mere 10 feet from the next door neighbor's house or property line, which their house is not that far from?
Because it's in between my house and his house, number one, and he's got an extensive backyard and a pool and everything else. So I put the building there to give him privacy and give me privacy. And I've spoke with him about it, and he agreed to it. He said, yeah, he thought it was a great idea. Matter of fact, he agreed to it. And the building has to be behind the house.
You had mentioned in your remarks that that was basically the minimum size that you need to get everything in.
Yes. The RV that I have is 45 feet long, a little bit more than 45, 14 foot tall,
How tall is it?
13 and a half, 14 feet with air conditioners and stuff.
Is there, I'm just asking if there's any thought given to possibly adding like an additional garage to the house and then making the accessory structure smaller but still adequate to fit
No,
the RV?
it wouldn't lend itself to the design of the house. We worked on this house with Schumacher for several months. We actually took two of their houses and combined them together to get what I want. And I spent a considerable amount of money to build the house at this point. That's why we're still going with the building. I was over on Romar today and trying to get a hold of these people, but they have the same structure in their yard, and there's one actually across the street, if I could show it to you. It's a three-door, mine would only be two. It's the same one. And actually, there's two of them on Romar. Right across the street from each other.
I've never seen that one.
I tried to get a hold of them last year, but they're probably doing the same thing. We snowbird, we live in Florida for a while.
I've never seen that one either.
There's two of them, there's one there, there's one right across the street. Same door, right down. And that's, he's got a huge 14-foot door. And actually, there's one also on Beechwood, right there, I even pulled those down. There's a gentleman back there on Beechwood, just like that, across the line, he's got an outbuilding back there too, I'm not sure his size is. But it was a 14-foot door. He's driving a Class A.
What's your thoughts?
I don't like the placement. On the 2-acre lot, way back in there like that, the size doesn't bother me as much as how close it is to the other property line.
Would there be a possibility of moving the building away from the property line by an additional?
At this point, no, probably not, because I'm 30 feet, the building has to be 30 feet from the house. That's where we're at right now. We'd have to move the house and everything over.
Well, we could give it.
Now, like I said, the only reason I put it there,
Shortening the distance between.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, you can.
Sir, what requirement are you citing regarding the spacing of the structure to the accessory building?
to be honest with you, I read over the
Because we
ordinance.
don't have that, we don't have a requirement on that. Now, is that a building code or maybe a fire separation?
I don't think there
To
is.
be honest with you, I couldn't tell you. I
not
think
for single
Schumacher
families.
and I discussed it, and that's what he said it had to be. And I knew this, it had to be 10 feet off the property line. I knew that. And actually, it's more than that.
Hamilton County has something.
Does Hamilton County have something like that? Because not here, I mean, we obviously, in our building department, if it's all one combined property, I mean, you may have some fire rated, fire
Yeah.
separation issues because of the siding and the material, but we do not have any zoning requirement that prohibits or establishes a minimum space between an accessory structure and a
I
principal
wouldn't mind
structure.
having one myself to put my camper in.
But that, I'm just trying to get clarity on that, just to find out if you had some document that we weren't looking at, so.
No, like I said, I could look back at the ordinance, and says, you say you don't have it, then I'm sure you don't. I read it a couple of times. But if I remember right, like I said, Schumacher and I discussed it.
What it is?
We thought it had to be, he said it had to be 30 feet, because that's what we measured when we blocked it all out.
And this board has the ability, even if there were some obscure provision in the code, this board has the ability to reduce that setback.
And the building is, the setback is 10 feet. It's more than 10 feet off the line.
No, I'm talking about the distance between the principal structure and the accessory structure.
Right. But I'm talking about the distance between that and the property line. And actually, I made it more than 10.
Parallel to the property line.
Could conceivably do that.
To where it's 20 feet off the line, but it's rotated, because the front of the building's probably close to that now.
Yeah, I mean, I tell you flat out, I am not going to approve that building being that close to the property line, that huge building. I'm not going to do it.
Would you be opposed to rotating the building to make it parallel to the property line if it was, I mean, the front corner looks like it's 20 feet.
Actually, I have the piece of paper.
I just think it's too big.
The neighbor's fine, but the neighbor's not here, so that's hearsay, so.
Yeah, I'm looking at mine. I don't have the distance on here. I just had the elevations, I'm sorry. But like I said once before, the property owner, they're back there in the corner.
Yeah.
The property owner in the corner, he doesn't care. I've asked him about it, because his fence is actually on my property, and he wanted to move the fence, and I told him, don't worry about it for now, we'll figure it out later. And like I said, the building's 10 feet off the fence, and his fence is 10 feet on my property.
What's Scott?
Rotate it this way.
Correct.
Yeah.
So if it was 20 foot off the property line, would you be in agreement with the building itself?
Grudgingly, but yeah.
Scott?
Yeah, I would. I wouldn't be opposed to it
With the additional size?
if you turned it.
Look at this real quick. I'm just trying to rotate the building a little bit and make this side parallel with that and keep this side of the building 20 feet off the property line.
If that's what you want me to do, I guess I'll have to do it, but I'm telling you, he doesn't care. The only reason I put that building there on that angle is to hide.
I don't disagree with
So
that.
yeah,
I'm just trying to help you out.
I understand. But I mean, I put it there for the reason that,
Because
I don't want to sit there and look at him.
I don't think it's gonna get,
Wall and everything else.
I don't think it's gonna get approved if there isn't a little bit of give and take.
Okay. But it defeats the purpose that him and I both wanted. I mean, he agreed to it, and that's what we did. I mean, I can turn it, you know.
You wanna make a motion?
So we're gonna still keep the corner 30 feet from the house and just rotate it.
Well, you could move the building, I mean, as long as it's parallel to the property line, I would say, and 20 feet away from it, you could still have it, I mean, we can give you, you could keep the angle and just move the building over 20 feet,
No.
or 10 feet.
I mean, 30 feet is, that's too close to the house.
Well, it'd be 20 feet. It's 9'1" now, so you'd have to move it 11 feet.
Right. It's just too close to the house. And that's the intent, I've got a plot that shows this acreage on there too. Little shed structure.
Is it this one?
Yep. So if I turn in the building, yeah, then I'm gonna see his pool. And you in his garage.
If you were to pull it forward some, like, say you twisted it and then moved it forward 10 feet to block the pool.
Remind me, refresh my memory, does the building have to be behind the house?
Well, it does, but
I mean, that was the whole stipulation.
we can, against, without it being more than 9 feet.
Yeah, if it's,
And
I'm sorry, what was it, 9 feet?
that's where it sits
That's
now,
where it's sitting.
correct, at the back corner.
it's where you propose.
9 feet?
From the property line to the corner of the building.
That's more than that.
Not
So
according
it's
to that.
9 feet.
It says on the plan, it's 9 feet 1 inch.
That's what he's against. He wants,
Oh,
he
no.
wants 19 feet right here.
That is wrong. I mean, minimum's supposed to be 10, correct?
5. 5 from the
Minimum's supposed to be 10. That's what we put it at. We put it 10 feet from,
Well, the plan says 9 foot 1 inch.
9
oh,
foot
I'm
1.
sorry, that is totally correct. I don't know why it says that. Because like I said, this fence is almost 10 feet on my property, and we were making the building probably 7 or 8 feet from the fence.
So then 20 feet would be close to that.
Yeah.
You might only have to move it 2 feet or something.
Yeah, that'd be fine. I'm sorry, I didn't know it said 9 feet, that's not right. Okay.
Can I make a phone call?
That's up to Mr. Henry.
Is there a question about setback or?
It's 5 feet from the
The
rear
standard
property.
setback for residential accessory structure is 5 feet from any side or rear property line. We do not have any minimum separation between a principal structure and a residential structure in the zoning code.
Correct.
Or in a residential accessory structure in the zoning code. I don't know whether there's a fire code requirement in OPC. Because a lot of
Hey, Jim.
times, there are certain requirements. Mr. Nadoc, can you step outside if we're gonna take a call? Thank you. The setback, would be, in OBC, there's certain requirements for one residential structure to another. For instance, that's why you see in a lot of plan developments, you'll see a
Yeah.
minimum of 5 foot, 10 foot. And I think that is kind of the standard for a house that's sheet with vinyl siding and whatnot. But I'm not sure where he's referencing that 30-foot separation between the house and the barn, we'll call it, or garage, whatever it is, because we don't have any such standard. And I believe that, you know, if this plan is accurate, you could shift this, keep the
You
alignment
could keep the
exactly
orientation of the
same,
building.
and it would be a nominal impact to the overall project and still achieve and take care of your concerns about the bulk and mass of the building being that close to the property line.
Yeah.
I think, you know, I think the orientation makes sense from an aesthetic perspective on the lot, just looking at it, but I don't think it would, you just look, I mean, 10 feet on that site plan is only this much, so if you scale it out, I don't think that hurts anything.
I don't either. And doesn't,
If this is the
our
scale,
our zoning regulations only prohibit accessory structures in the front yard, right?
So we have taken the position that they have to be in the rear yard, and for large buildings like this, and particularly for garden sheds and other things like that. Now, the way that we would define this is Mr. Nadoc's front yard would actually run, if you look at this, because it's in a regular lot, his front yard would be here, side yard is basically like here,
Right.
the rear yard would run, you know, it could move, you know, we probably call this a side, this a front, you know, this a rear or a side, I don't know, we would figure it out. But on an irregular parcel like this, I don't think it's a big deal to move this, you know, laterally or this way, just to achieve other goals of, you know, increasing the distance to the property line.
Okay. That's pretty much how I felt about it too, so.
do you have any clarification as to if it's,
I did, and I spoke to the my superintendent, and we both agreed. We were 5 feet at least, or 6 feet from the fence, which was 10 feet on our property. So we're a good, probably 10 to 15 feet off the property line. And if that's not good enough, tell me what number you want, and I'll see if I can make that work. But we're already like 15 feet off
So
the
you
property
could
line.
keep the orientation of the building and just make the rear corner needs to be 20 feet. Does that work?
Can we go with 15? Because I'm almost positive we're close at 15 right now. I don't know how that plan
If you
says.
scale it
9.5.
according to this, it's way over that.
Well, yeah, I didn't check the scaling
So
on
the
that.
scale
I
shows
just
that
went
it's
by what's
probably
printed on
20-some
there.
feet off the actual property line.
I'm sorry?
If you scale this print, it's probably 20-plus feet off the property line, according to the scale.
Okay.
If you go by the dimensions they wrote on there, it says 9.1.
Yeah, that's long. I guarantee it is. I measured that out.
Because 1 inch is 60 feet.
Like I said, I spoke with the owner, they're telling me, he's like, I'll move the fence. It's gonna cost $5,000. I'm like, I'm not worried about it. I'll put the building over there, I got new cut grass in between.
Well, when I look at the scale on here, roughly, and what that is, it looks like it's 9.1 feet to me. It looks like it's labeled accurately.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah,
So if this was a small lot, say a half-acre lot, and the setback is 5 feet, he would be approved to put a structure 5 feet from a property owner's property line.
but not anything near that big.
Well, it wouldn't be because everything's to scale. But so 5 feet would be okay on everybody else's lot that's in this neighborhood,
He's got 10 foot on here.
is just my question. So 5 feet's normally okay, correct? Because that's the setback rule?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
I can guarantee I'll have 15. And so we measured it. I walked it off with a tape. When we had it surveyed.
That's showing 10 feet. Is this the fence or the property
No,
line?
that's probably the
Property
property line.
That's property
Mark
line.
it off there.
Mr. Hanahan, if you look at the scale, I don't think the prints are to scale, but if you look at, if you apply the scale and determine what each mark is, so each one of those marks down there, it's kind of a weird division, each mark is 12 feet.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you apply that to that drawing does accurately represent a 9-foot setback to that property line.
That's what I said. Thank you.
That would be what 9 feet looks like.
Thank you for the confirmation.
Just for everybody's edification, if you were to do 20, let's just say a 20-foot setback, the back corner, it would put the building corner approximately where the arrow is on the screen, right here. You see that up there, it keeps disappearing. But somewhere around like right here. Somewhere in there.
Okay, I'll make a motion to to approve the applicant's request for variance in case 221A, requesting relief to sections 711.1 and 711.5 of the Union Township zoning resolution as to allow for construction of an accessory building that would increase the size from 1,000 square feet to the allowable size from 1,000 square feet to 1,800 square feet, and increase the height from allowable 14 to 16 feet based on evidence, testimony, finding as fact, and conditioned on the building being set 20 feet from the property line.
I'll second that motion.
Roll call, Mr. Hanahan,
Aye.
Ms. Jenks,
Aye.
Ms. Cangrove,
Aye.
and Ms. Walker.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay, next up,
Our last case for the night is BZA case number 3-21-A, applicant James Barbara King. Their variance location requests at 4465 High Fork Road. The applicant is requesting that the Union Township Board of Zoning Appeals grant variances and relief from the provisions of sections 623.1, 623.2, and 634, which would give permission to increase the accessory structure allowance from one accessory building and one storage shed to two accessory buildings in the R2 districts, and relief from section 711.2 and 711.3, which would give permission to increase the total accessory size allowance from 870 to 990 square feet in the R2 district. The subject property is located on Eichholz Road in the central west portion of Union Township with access to the site off of private shared access drive. Some background information: the applicant's property is zone R2, single family, and totals .93 acres. Access to the lot is provided off both Eichholz and the shared private drive to the west of the site. The applicant proposes the construction of a new pole barn measuring 720 square feet on the subject property while preserving an existing 270 square foot accessory structure already constructed on the parcel. If approved, the new building will result in a total combined accessory structure square footage of 990 square feet, which would be a 14% increase on the allowable combined accessory square footage. The project also involves the construction of a paved apron on the existing shed and the paved driveway connecting the existing building to the new structure. After reviewing the proposed variance request submitted by the applicant, the following observations can be made. The proposed variance does not appear to encourage or otherwise allow the establishment of uses not otherwise permitted within the district. The proposed structure does not appear to impede light or air to the surrounding properties, nor does it appear to cause greater water runoff to the surrounding properties. Consideration to be given to limiting the width of the drive not to exceed 12 feet in width with reasonable turnaround area in front of the garage. The rear drive must be paved prior to the use of the new structure. The action required tonight is to approve, modify, or deny the applicant's request for variance in case of 3-21-A, requesting relief to section 623.1, 623.2, 634, 711.2, and 711.3 of the Union Township zoning resolution as to allow for an increase in accessory structure allowance from one to two large accessory buildings in the R2 zoning district based on evidence, testimonies, and findings of facts.
thank you. Is there anyone to speak in favor of the application?
I'm here for the property, but I wasn't going to speak unless I needed to. I was just here to listen.
You're the owner of the property?
Yes.
Okay then.
All right.
Discussion of the board.
It has, who else has been to the property? There's three outbuildings.
So I did look at that.
They're like
The other
vinyl.
building is considered an accessory structure now because that is over the square footage of the shed. So I don't have a problem with the additional barn. I think Scott's concern is taking down one of the other sheds on the property as a,
Yeah, that's, reasonable.
The one like up against a fence road, like, or what? Do you have a picture of it?
Yeah, that's what I'm getting that up.
Do you have an actual photograph of the property, Corey?
Oh, I can pull one up there.
This is,
I got the county side of it.
this is reasonably close.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even see that one in there. I got this one. Can't see. Let me look at yours, I can probably see it on here.
I got a color one. I know, I can't see it on mine.
So this is what Scott was concerned
Yeah.
about, was just taking that down. I believe. Scott?
This, you just want to get this taken down?
There's one there.
Yeah, that's,
No, wait, no,
this is the concrete one.
There's one there, and there's another one, like over here, there's a total.
Oh, I didn't see the one back in there.
You have like, sir, you have like 2 additional like vinyl type sheds?
There is a vinyl shed behind that pool on the tree line. There's trees there on that fence line behind that pool. There is a vinyl shed there, and it will disappear.
Okay.
It's gone. I will get rid of it.
That's, now, if I'm looking at your side yard there where the driveway goes up to the out garage, there, what's to the right of that garage?
Where- That's a pool right there, actually.
Well, I know
That's
that.
Before we finish doing the pool. It's done now, so. This for the vinyl structure? That is a shed, and that's gonna disappear.
Okay.
There's a concrete structure there. So that vinyl shed that we've been referring to is the only one,
That's the only other building that's back there.
that and the concrete.
Okay.
Okay. I didn't do that right, but, okay. Should have sworn him in and all that stuff. Okay.
Scott, you want to make a motion?
Okay, I'll make a motion.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve the applicant's request for variance in case 3-21-A, requesting relief to sections 623-1, 623-2, 634, 711-2, and 711-3 of the Union Township zoning resolution to allow for an increase in accessory structure allowance from 1 to 2 large accessory buildings in the R2 zoning district based on evidence, testimony, and finding of fact.
And that one building be removed.
You want to add?
And what do I say? Yeah, under the condition that the vinyl shed be removed.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay.
Roll call.
Call roll.
Ms. Canberra,
Aye.
Mr. Walker,
Aye.
Mr. Hanahan,
Aye.
Ms. James.
All right.
Motion carries.
Okay. Is there any other business to come before the board?
No, sir.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We are adjourned.
Gentlemen, I'm sorry.